Hello, and welcome back to Quantitative Reasoning Online. We are in Lesson 13b, Preview. We just got done talking about when in Rome. Hopefully you went and looked at the Mediterranean diet study, and you should have found, it looks like it was an observational study. They just went and basically surveyed people and studied them and watched them. So let's do question one. Come on. Determine whether the study depicts an observational study or experiment. A study is conducted to determine if there is a relationship between Parkinson's disease and childhood head trauma. Doctors looked at hospital records for patients with Parkinson's disease for any childhood head trauma. So, observational or experiment. Was there a treatment? If you say yes, and treatment was head trauma, you'd be wrong. And you'd be very unethical. Inducing head trauma in a child just to see if they get Parkinson's when they get older. No, what head trauma was a parameter. Was a parameter for the observational search. So this was an observational study where they looked at lots and lots of records. The question was, head trauma? No. No. Head trauma? No. So, observational study, and only if they had a head trauma as a child did they further take these records and see if later Parkinson's disease or not Parkinson's disease developed. And they're trying to see if there's a correlation between head trauma and Parkinson's disease later in life. So this was an observational study. This would be very unethical. Okay. So study experiment because the study examined individuals in a sample but does not try to influence the variable of interest. Okay, maybe. No, not experimental. The study is observational because researchers control one variable to determine the effect on the response variable. Definitely not. That's experiment. Study is an observational study because the study examined individuals in a sample but does not try to influence the response variable. The study experiment because the researchers control one variable. Well, difference about these two guys because it's a study. Oh, they can have experimental studies. But we were looking at individuals in a sample but not trying to influence the response variable. Okay. And what else they could have done is either start this way, or another way to have done this observational study and how they did it was you had Parkinson's disease. Okay, oops, PP, Parkinson's disease. They looked at the records and looked for childhood head trauma, see if there's any kind of a pattern or any kind of a correlation between what's the probability of having head trauma resulting in Parkinson's. Okay. And one of the results of that study is if the study did show that, hey, head trauma, Parkinson's disease, and head trauma has a correlation. What that allows doctors then to do is try to actively intervene. So when a child has head trauma, is there then a treatment that can be developed such that Parkinson's disease doesn't happen? Because you already got it, you're not going to fix it. But again, a study like this can show that there is a correlation between head trauma as a child and Parkinson's disease. So I'm going to go over it. So start looking at children who have had trauma. Let's see what we can do there. See if we can nip this in the bud. For example, because I need to check my answer. Yes. Excuse my over talking here. Okay, determine whether the study depicts observation or experiment. A poll, a survey, is conducted by a school math department in which 10th grade students are asked if they prefer to be in their math class or their science class. Now, assuming that this poll is done in a science class, where they may try to overly influence them, or done in a math class, again, where they may try to influence them. This is a survey, not a treatment involved. So that means we immediately eliminate the experimental ones. So study observation because researchers control one variable, determine the effect. When we're controlling a variable, that implies an experiment. The study is observation because the study examines individuals in a sample, but does not try to influence the response. That is the textbook definition of part of the textbook definition of an observation study. Not trying to influence the response. Just want to see where it goes. Yeehaw. Next question. Conduct a quick search on the characteristics of a Mediterranean diet. What foods are included in this diet? What countries follow this diet? 2 parts. So part 1, what foods are included in this diet? So you should have looked at that article. So you're looking at this in the article, you may have found something like this. And let's see. So what does Mediterranean diet food look like? Vegetables, nuts, fruits, seeds, legumes. That's beans, by the way. Potatoes or potatoes, whole grain, breads, herbs, spices, fish, seafood, extra virgin olive oil. Moderation, poultry, eggs, cheese, and yogurt. And eat only rarely red meat. Well, that definitely counts me out of this diet. So which of these here match it? Fruits, vegetables, legumes, grain, fish, and olive oils. Yeah. Same fruits, vegetable exclusively. Here's a clue. Whenever it says exclusively or only or none of the above, all of the above, usually not the right one. Focuses on large amounts of fish, poultry, and eggs. When they say fish, poultry, and eggs in moderation, or poultry and eggs in moderation, so it was this one out. Focuses largely on amounts of meat and dairy products, with relatively few grains and vegetables. And moves this one out. So pretty much by process of elimination, and having this little list here, has to be A. Focuses on vegetables, fruit, legumes, grains, fish, and olive oil, among a few other things. So A. What country follows Mediterranean diet? Select all that apply. Okay, so let's see, Mediterranean diet. Well, that kind of implies that countries around the Mediterranean, so we need some geography here. Italy is Mediterranean. Greece is Mediterranean. Morocco is. Spain is. Turkey, Latvia, Germany, Hungary. Well, Latvia is off the Baltic. Germany is also around basically the Baltic also. Hungary is landlocked. Turkey, that's debatable. Let's find out what we got. Just go with these guys. Countries I definitely know that are on the, at least one of your answers is incorrect. So I'm going to add Turkey. Well, it says France, Greece, Italy, and Spain. So here's Italy, Greece, Spain. Morocco's in Africa. I think Morocco. Morocco is not one on the Mediterranean diet? I gotta tell you, I find that hard to believe. That one I find hard to believe. Morocco? Let's see that. Morocco. Oh, Marrakesh. Okay, technically it's not on the Mediterranean. However, it doesn't mean they wouldn't follow a Mediterranean diet, which would be high in fruit, vegetables, and grains and olive oils, because they even say that, oops, can't do that, that Portugal, which is not on the Mediterranean, does a Mediterranean diet. So I'd argue with that one, but the book says Morocco's not included, so I guess they're going strictly on Mediterranean ocean front property, which Morocco does not have one, although it is not too far. I mean, it's just on the other side of Gibraltar, which is the Mediterranean, for crying out loud. I throw on the Med BS flag on that one, but oh well. Search for information regarding a long-term medical study that was conducted involving 7 countries. Which one that is? Which of the following is not one of the 7 countries in the study? And this one we did earlier. Let's just pull that guy up again. And 7 countries were USA, Netherlands, Finland, Italy, Greece, Yugoslavia, Japan. Not Mediterranean, not Mediterranean, not Mediterranean, not Mediterranean. And Yugoslavia has, yeah, all right. So, from these names, which one on the list is not on that list? Ooh, France, s'il vous plaît. Je ne sais quoi. Was not on the list. Okay. Search for information regarding a long-term medical study that was conducted involving 7 countries. Which one that is? In your own words, describe the hypothesis and objective of the study. The hypothesis was the rate of coronary disease with respect to lifestyle, diet, and physical characteristics. Hypothesis was the rate of coronary disease depending on age and gender. Hypothesis was the rate of coronary disease with respect to climate. Hypothesis was the rate of disease rate exposed to other diseases. Okay, now the whole study was lifestyle, diet, and physical characteristics. Hypothesis. Main hypothesis was that the rate of coronary disease, population, individual, related to physical characteristics and lifestyle, particularly in fat composition and serum cholesterol. Let's see what that one said. Go back. Characteristic and lifestyle. Which one uses that one? Physical. God, these are tongue twisters. Physical characteristics and lifestyle. And diet thrown for good measure. All right. Describe the objective of the study. Well, objective was to explore in detail the association of diet, other risk factors, and disease rates between populations and among individuals within populations, using standard measures by trained survey teams, observational, with blindfolded coding and analysis of data. Objective was to prove that a particular risk factor caused coronary disease? No. Explore association between risk factors and disease rates? Objective was to standardize diet and lifestyles worldwide to reduce coronary disease rates, to improve recording rates of coronary disease worldwide. Okay. See? Double check. Okay. Was to explore details associated with diet, other risk factors, and disease rates between population among individuals within population using standard measures. It's too hard to read back and forth. Get over there, will you? Aha. Objective was to explore the association between diet, risk factors, and disease rates between population. So it is B. So it's good to have the source open with you. And finally, describe the pilot study evidence from the informed exploratory studies. Pilot study. Informal exploratory studies in Italy, Spain, South Africa, and Japan suggest that diet, cholesterol, heart attack rates vary widely and that methods need to be standardized. All right. More formal pilot studies undertaken 56 to 57 in Finland, Italy, and Greece, indicating that desirable wide range of diets and disease rates probably existed and that staff and population would be effectively recruited and examined. Woo. Evidence. Study reported that risk factors and heart attack rates varied widely across populations and individuals. Okay. It's a possibility. Study reported a strong association between diets and heart attack rates. I don't think I saw that anywhere in here. Let's see. Studies report a wider range of diets and disease rates occurred in some populations than others. Let's see, a wide range, probably white. Now, that seems to vary or cover is A. Yes, it is. So sometimes you got to read these things very, very carefully. Cancel, close. Okay. Another one. Describe how you know whether the pilot studies were observational or experimental. Okay. Now, studies were experimental. No, they weren't doing any active treatment. Studies were observational since treatments of different diets, observation and treatments don't go together. Study was observational since participants were surveyed and no treatment was applied or manipulated. Experiments were experimental. Experiments and surveys don't go along. Has to be C. Observational, no treatment. And I believe that completes the questions for, what do you call this thing? Lesson 13B, When in Rome, Observational versus Experimental Studies. Go back and do these questions yourself now. They may be a little different than what you saw on the screen here, because there was a question poll. But with that, I'll see you in shortly for 13C preview.